everybody. Thank you for coming to today's presentation. Before we start on the topic of gamification, I want to tell you a little story. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I totally love my schooling days, especially my 10th grade. It's not because I had to study a million number of hours and write lots of exams. It's mainly because of what my dad did. Now, on the first day of my 10th grade, I remember him coming up to me and he said, if you get more than 90%, I'm going to buy you a brand new motorbike. I was like, oh, wow, is this really happening? But he didn't stop there, right? He was really smart. He said, for every 1% that you get more than 90%, I'm going to buy you something else. He said, whatever you wanted, make a list. I was like given a key to a treasure house or something. I was just amazed, and it was amazing, wonderful. So I did make a list, and you know what? It really did help. It motivated me a lot, and I did remember studying a lot of hours, missing those amazing parties and time with my friends, blah, blah, blah. But I ended up getting my motorbike and lots of other gifts as well. Well, until recently that I entered into the world of gamification, I did not realize that my dad had totally gamified my 10th grade. Wow. Well, with that as my inspiration, I welcome you to today's talk, and the title is Gamification and Enterprise Solution. But before I get into the details of it, I want to thank our sponsors. Been very kind in sponsoring this event and all the great talks. So thank you so much. Alright, gamification. So anybody here heard about gamification before? Alright, so can anybody tell me what is gamification?
Foursquare.
Alright, yeah. Theory, explanation?
Xbox achievements.
Yeah, one a part of it, yeah. Well, absolutely, you're right. Gamification is all about using game concepts in a non-game context. It's about understanding why people love to play games and use this understanding in a non-game context. Maybe to engage users to make them absolutely love your products. Well, to understand gamification, let's go back to where it all started. So games. So how many of you here love playing games? Alright, so what's your favorite game? Just yell it out to me.
Mine's Mouna.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Okay.
Game Day Tycoon.
Okay. Lovely. How many hours in a week do you spend playing games?
More than I should.
Okay. How much money do you actually spend playing these games?
Not that much.
Not that much. Well, how many of you are actually members in World of Warcraft?
They're not here, they're playing it.
Alright, so let's look at some statistics, which is quite in line with what you guys are saying. The average age of a gamer is actually around 30 years. I was quite surprised, so games are not just for kids, right? And 45% of them are actually female.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Well, we continue to be. Yeah. I know I am.
That's a graph of US game sales growth last year. And as you can see, 2002 it was around $6.9 billion. But 2010 is $16.9 billion. Wow, that's a lot of money. And you can see an upward trend line. So last year alone, there was around $20.77 billion spent on games. That's a lot of money, right? To give you a little bit of perspective as well, a game like Grand Theft Auto made $800 million in just first 24 hours. And it crossed the $1 billion limit in the first 3 days. Now, this is 16 days less than the top 3 movies to cross the $1 billion limit, which they approximately made in around 19 days. So, wow. So the big question is, why are games so popular? So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you a picture of some games, some popular games, and I want you to tell me, first of all, if you like those games, and secondly, what's one amazing thing about these games. Alright? Let's go. Yes. Do you guys like it?
Yeah.
So what's the one amazing thing about this game?
Secret stuff.
Okay, so it's exploring the new things and finding all the secrets, right? And it's fun. Yeah? Need for speed. Competition. Destruction. You can play with other people online, or you're with your friends next to you playing with another console and you're trying to beat them. You can lose or win by, what, milliseconds? Absolutely. It's amazing. That's why they're making so much money, I'm sure.
Have to get 3 stars on every level.
Okay, so there's lots of levels. It's competition, there's challenge involved that you want to go past the next levels. Yeah. World of Warcraft. What is it?
Addictive.
Addictive. Why is it addictive? Because there's lots of things to learn. It's a new world out there. It's challenging. It's an incremental learning that makes it so interesting. Sims. Not enough girls here. Oh, you know, Half-Life. Yeah. What was the one best thing about it?
Shooting shit up.
It was immersive.
Immersive storyline. Yeah.
Storyline, yeah? Yeah.
Graphics.
Candy Crush.
Oh.
Alright. Hello. Yeah. What is the best thing about it?
Well, the reason why I bought my first Xbox when I was 11, purely because of Halo. I love how immersive it was. Yeah.
Alright, so let's summarize all these concepts, is what makes games so amazing. So first one, it's fun. There's challenges involved, and there's rewards. There's competition, you want to come first. There's a feedback, and there's social connection. You want to post on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and you want to say, oh, I won this game, or I scored so many points in this game. And there's a reputation to maintain. How many times have you actually played this game and maybe came second or third, and you play it so hard to keep it up, right? You want to maintain your reputation. And all of this causes motivation. So, do you guys think a combination of these concepts can be used outside games to motivate new users, to engage customers, right? And that's when gamification was born. Well, the concept of gamification is very well summarized with this video, so I'll let you guys watch this video for a second, and I want you to tell me what do you think about it. Fun can change the behavior for better, right? Has anybody seen any other examples that you want to share?
Fitbit.
Fitbit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool one. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I always take the stairs now.
You do?
No, I do, because this one measures how many flights of stairs I go up, and I gotta get 10 in a day. I gotta get 3 stars on every level.
It's a very good way to take the stairs. Of course, love it.
Not just doing it with the development program as well.
Yeah, yeah. With the Microsoft does have, the Visual Studio has one of them as well.
Yeah, but that's crap. Sorry, there was a program in Visual Studio or something.
So what we're going to do now is look at some real-life examples where gamification has been integrated really well. And we talk about the pros and cons and the analytics of what you think about it. The first one that I want to talk about is e-commerce. So how many of you have actually used eBay? How many of you sold something on eBay? Do you have an account? Regular account? Alright. So what is one thing that you think is gamified in eBay?
Ratings.
The rating.
The rating system, yes, it's a win-win situation for both. eBay encourages their sellers to maintain a positive feedback and encourages them to sell good quality products. And as they get good feedback from the users, they rise through the rating system of eBay. It's good for everybody. If you have higher ranking, the users knows whom they want to buy from. And the users are motivated to achieve higher points or good feedback by offering good quality products, right? What else? What else is gamified?
On eBay.
Yes.
The bidding.
The bidding system, yes, the ultimate gamification, the hidden gamification, in other words. eBay bidders are encouraged to bid huge amounts of money and be the best player by outbidding the other players. The same product probably you could have actually bought outside for a lot less price, right? You still like bidding because it's almost at the end like you didn't buy the product, but you actually won the product. Yeah? How many of you actually felt something like that? Yeah, definitely. This whole approach to e-commerce has been extremely beneficial to eBay because they make a lot more money than what it's actually worth. And it's almost revolutionized the e-commerce system. So, the bidding system, the star rating for the sellers. So the main points are scarcity and impatience. If there's 100 products being bidded at the same time, you probably wouldn't care and bid so competitively, right? So there's a scarcity of the product that encourages a very competitive bidding system. There's unpredictability and curiosity. Oh, am I going to win this? Maybe. And there's obviously the reputation and feedback system. Alright, the next one is the social. I do truly believe that the sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Now, if you're a technologist, you have such a powerful tool to make a change, to contribute to the mankind. And this particular app is an example of the same. So before I talk a little bit about the app, I want to tell you a little bit about AIDS. Now, by 2009, it had killed nearly 30 million people. By 2010, nearly 34 million people were detected with AIDS. That's almost twice the population of Australia. That's a huge amount. And for more than 15 years, scientists have been trying to decipher this Mason monkey virus, which is a causing virus for AIDS, but they have been unsuccessful. Recently, University of Washington's Game Science Department and Biochemistry Department came together and created something called the Folded. So what's Folded? It's called solve puzzles for science. So the idea is very simple. You have a game in which the users are encouraged to go and solve these puzzles, which meets a researcher's criteria. Now on the left side you can see there's a little tutorial that you can go and watch to learn more about protein bonding and all the various theories behind it. Now on the right side you can see you can either play this as a soloist or as a group. Now this is a perfect example of collaboration and competition. Now even if you're playing in a group, you're actually collaborating with other people and sharing the knowledge, but you're still competing against other groups. And it clearly tells you what ranking you are, who are above you, who are below you, which is motivating because you want to progress through the ranking system. And it tells you what level you are. You can see on the top it says Grand Challenge 7, and what scores have you got. On the right side as well, there's a little chat window where you can chat with other people online at the same time and exchange ideas. Maybe, hey, I'm doing puzzle number 7, what do you think about this? What are your tips? Etc., etc. It's collaboration. It's using social power almost. And this is another picture as well. On this left, it's giving you a constant feedback about what you're doing and what you can do better to solve this puzzle. Right? Now, what are the statistics? 240,000 people registered to play this game. They played viciously against each other for 10 days. And they found a solution to this monkey virus. That's very impressive. 15 years versus 10 days. Right? Using power, using people power, social collaboration. You make something fun for people, encourage them to play, and you can solve it for you. Has anybody seen any other social apps similar to this? Would you like to share anything? Alright, we keep moving. So come to the section later. Alright, the next one is health. Now, I worked as a fitness instructor for 2 years when I was at university as a part-time job. And the biggest thing in this industry is motivation. Having the motivation to keep up your fitness regime or keep up your diet regime. Now, as you all might know, Australia does have a lot of overweight issues. Now, if something can turn the boring and the regular fitness workout into something fun, something that you want to, it can totally revolutionize, right? It can benefit the society on a whole. And that's what this thing is. Now, this is a very fun fun app and I love it. And it's called Zombies Run.
I've seen that, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool, yeah.
Has anybody used it?
No.
Alright. How many of you go for a run? Outside? On the treadmill. But anyway, how many of you actually wanted to go for a run but were not motivated? You thought of something better to do?
I would walk briskly away from the zombie. I don't think I'd actually pick up my feet though. More of a speed walk.
When Google Glass comes out.
Definitely can totally revolutionize it. But the whole idea here is there is this town called Able Township. It has a population of 301, and the idea is this whole town has been taken over by zombies. And you are a soldier in this town. So all you have to do is you get lots of missions. For example, you go to the medical center at the other side of the town and collect the medical kit. Something like that. And it gives you a particular time that you have to finish this. And if you don't finish and if you don't run within the time, it means zombies have actually taken over you and it says zombie chase and you're caught out. What happens is also along the run, when you're running, you can collect a lot of things. For example, medical kits, food, maybe clothes, etc., etc. If you've actually not completed that mission within that particular time, that means you've actually been overtaken by zombies, and also you lose everything that you collected in that particular run. It's pretty motivating to keep up your fitness regime, and it's fun. The way it works is that you have lots of missions. At the beginning, it plays a little recording and it says, okay, what the scenario is. It says, we need a medical kit urgently, and you go there. And then you can play your music, maybe it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. At the end, it calculates your speed, your running, how much time you took, etc., etc. It tells you, it gives you information about your run. And that's displayed in this dashboard. Obviously, it has a GPS tracker, so it tells you what kilometers did you do, where did you run, and the bottom says what speed did you run, etc. And obviously, you can share these with your friends on Facebook. Say, I did this run, and your friends can share this, what they did. So it's fitness with a social collaboration. How many of you are going to use it?
How much does it cost?
How much is it? $4 for iOS? Yeah.
It's not available with us.
It's not available. I know.
It needs to be available on a decent platform, then I'll use it.
Here are some statistics. Join a worldwide community of runners. There's 450,000 players registered. If everybody could use it, maybe.
People running around madly.
Well, they do caution you, right, that you watch out for the street lights and everything. The best way to do it is to go and run in a park. It's fun. Alright, the next section is the enterprise solution. Now, this is the work that I have been doing so far. The thing is, what is an enterprise solution and how is it different from a normal application? Anybody?
Somebody who buys it is not the person who uses it.
True. Alright, let me explain that a little bit. Well, enterprise solution is a suite of highly customizable products that meets the business logic of a particular organization. So it meets the needs of a particular organization. So what it does is it collects a huge amount of data relevant to that organization and deals with storing it, manipulating it, displaying those data, and also supports automation of those processes. Now, what is my relation with enterprise solution? I work for a company called Rangi Pincock Monaco, and we develop enterprise solutions for the mining industry. Now, what do? Mine planning, scheduling, equipment simulation, and financial analysis. And this is a little picture of all the products that we work with. Now, the particular product that I'm going to demonstrate today is actually called Xeris. Now, what Xeris is, it's an enterprise financial modeling system. And the main things that it can do is plan versus actual analysis, reforecasting, consolidated budgets, and integration with SAP, which is what gives us the power to gamify this particular product. Now, the big question is, why even gamify it? Why? Well, what's the need for gamification? Well, gamification gives us the power to measure, to recognize, and to track. Now, this is a valuable data, and this data can be used to customize the product. Now, customizing the product is one of the biggest property of an enterprise solutions. Now, the data that is provided through gamification is a powerful set of data, right? And this can be used to customize it better. Now, in a traditional sense, you probably will go for focus groups or involving your users with the product designs, etc., etc. But I'm sure you all agree that there's nothing more powerful than actually watching your users use your software, understand their likes and dislikes, and being able to use the data in the future to highly customize the software even further. Now, another thing that this can also be used to is to assist your user in learning your product. Now, how many times haven't you actually developed some functionality which has been forgotten over the time, right? When you spend so much money and effort on the functionality, you may as well make your users use it. But the more your users can know about your controls, know about the functionality, the better it is for your product because they love it, and you can basically sell it better because they understand the whole suite of controls. Now, the assisting part is that you give them, for example, rewards, or you give them missions to explore, go and explore this functionality. Now, let me show you a little bit of screenshots to explain this to you better. Now, alright, this is what the Xero's screenshot looks like. Now, as you can see, there's mainly three structures. There's administrator, there's user, and there's reader. Now, in any enterprise solution, there is a workflow. Now, these workflow can have strict dependencies, or they can be loosely dependent on each other. Now, our workflow in an enterprise solutions is very similar to a level in a game. So you can interpret them in a similar way. So what this does is it locks everything else unless you go and finish the administrator part of it. So what does the administrator do? He builds the system, he builds the background structure. And once that's done, the rest of the levels or the process in the workflow becomes available. Now, for an administrator, once he's going and building the model, this is the view that he can see. And here you can see, okay, what spreadsheets does he have, what templates he has, what photo levels he has. Now on the right side, you can see a little thing that says complexity. Now this is what the metrics in a gamification, which is one of the most important aspects of gamification, which gives you what you are assessing against, right? Now this complexity can be decided by your administrator or the person who is the business as well. Now on the right side, you have, say, approximate time required, which is 500 hours in this particular case, which is evaluated based on the complexity of the spreadsheet. Now, the administrator has finished his job, so the user is available. On the right side, you can see as well, there's a little tracker which says, okay, how you're going and how much you have to finish further to get a complete analysis. Now, the user can see a similar view that the administrator saw, but he has more functionality. Now, what is that? He can see what spreadsheets have been completed, what is still to be completed, how much of each of the folders or the upper level folders are completed, are finished, etc., etc. On the right side as well, there's a complexity level, and you can see obviously how much has been finished, what needs to be finished, etc. Just on the bottom, you can see, okay, 500 hours is what was required, and I have finished 200 hours. So the concepts are very simple. It's visibility, a good feedback system. You know what you're doing, you know what you have to do. The next slide is something that's more a direct implementation of gamification. So what this does is every person can see the dashboard. Now on the left side, for example, I just use my name. Maybe just imagine that I'm a mind planner. Now on the right side, it says you're an apprentice. So that gives you your expertise with your software. The more functionalities you use, the better you're using it. Your software, for example, you're utilizing 50 keyboard controls. The more you progress through that levels. So the more expert you are in using that software. On the left side, you can see a little graph that tells you, okay, what sheets you've been working on recently, and how many hours you've actually spent on them. And you can change the range. You can see for a week, for a month, for a year, etc. On the right side as well, now comes the badges. So it tells you what badges have you acquired. Now each badge represents a mission. For example, I have released a new patch, new version of my software, and the new functionality is blah, blah, blah. And you have a mission to go and explore the functionality. And when you do, you get the reward. It's a good reward system to encourage your users to explore your functionalities. And maybe there's something that you've written 5 years ago and to be totally forgotten, just remind them to go back and use it. And then there's underneath that is something called uncover. So those are the badges you're yet to get. And it tells you the mission, it explains to you, and tells you what you have to do to get those. And just underneath that, you have a leaderboard. And, sorry, yeah?
Aren't you just completely diluting your own analysis data with that? I mean, I would assume that if you don't have that, then at least you could tell, okay, this feature is completely useless because nobody's using it. But you're kind of forcing people to explore the app even though it might not be useful at all.
Yeah, but a lot of times...
My question is, why do you need a badge if that feature is is useful, then use it?
A lot of times, I agree, I totally agree, but don't you think a lot of times the functionality has been overlooked because maybe it's too complex, maybe...
But if it's too complex, that's the problem. It's not
Can
Yeah.
You would be able to see how many times it's used after the content as well.
Then the badge would remind them to look at it, but if they never looked at it again,
It's
separate
to actually gamifying it. But it's say Office 2003, right?
Yeah.
There was there was we all remember this menu system, right? All had menus coming down, and there was more third, fourth level menu time. And then I believe there was a survey that came out and asked users, okay, what features would you like the next version of Office? And something like 96% or something was already in there. So if they'd employed something, the badges or whatever, to get people to explore, find out where things are, at least they would have started using these features, even though the interface might not have been as clear. So isn't that a way of... I think it's more important to say what you haven't achieved than what you have achieved. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's good to get both because what you have achieved is a kind of like a self-achievement kind of thing. Like, for example, you can see, you got 95 out of 100 for your subject or something. It's just for self-satisfaction. But what you have to achieve is for goal setting.
But once you get there, you want to see the next thing.
Yeah.
So the ones you have achieved are less important than the ones you're trying to go for.
Definitely. Actually, that's one of the point of, if you want to keep your regular customers as well, to encourage them to use the functionality, it's good to keep changing it as well, all the time, because they like the fresh content.
You're already level 2 on Control F5.
Alright.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I just wanted to comment about the date range that you just mentioned and how they can all change to different date ranges. I've always given customers lots of different ways to do this type of data with different date ranges. But Fitbit, and I'm not sure if it was a conscious decision, locks you into only seeing 7 days.
Oh, really?
So it makes a common language between people, and it's kind of interesting. If you want them to, maybe be comparing this as a ladder system, I think there's something to be said with the way Fitbit locks it in like that.
Twitter is, you're talking about constraints. So Twitter is a game as well. I mean, I know that when I regularly tweet, I just type. But I know I've got an idea, it's going to be awesome. I will sit there and I'll look at that tweet and I'll look at it 4 or 5 times because I know from experience that the difference between phrasing it a certain way is the difference between 10 retweets and 100. But it's the constraint of 140 characters that makes it possible. And if I do a tweet that's funny but abbreviated, I have to abbreviate a word, it is less likely to get retweeted. Tweet is just, I don't know why it just is. Tweets with abbreviations are less likely to get retweets than other ones. So I'll modify the word, and it's the same thing a comedian does when they work their material over and over and over. They get the tempo right and the word choice, and you don't know why, but that word's funnier than that word. So and it's the constraint that causes you to do that.
Yeah, but your incentive is the number of retweets, not a badge that you said, you work 5 minutes on a tweet. Like, it has a very clear cause and
but I have to work within constraints.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is, I think it's just important to know that badges need to be constructed in a way that actually rewards the output rather than saying, okay, you clicked on this button 5 times, you get a badge for that.
No, I think it has to be done. The most important thing is smart design as well, right? Like if I say, go and go to the home button and import something and you get a badge, well, it's a very obvious thing, and that's something that everybody does. I think it's more about, for example, in terms of mining industry, there's a thing which I work with, is dependencies, and it's very complex to understand. So you give them maybe a badge to go and explore that functionality, right? You don't have to make something that's obvious and something that everybody uses, a badge, because then it loses the purpose of it. the badges have to be scarce to be able to achieve them. If there's hundreds of badges, what's the purpose of having 100 badges as well, right? And, okay, to move on the right side you can see the little leaderboard. Now this leaderboard obviously is with your colleagues, so all the people in your work who are actually also using the same software. And just next to that you can see a little picture, a little man, that actually tells you their expertise level. On the next slide I'll show you what the different levels I'm talking about. And you can see all the badges they have achieved recently, and obviously we put a time constraint on it, maybe in the last week, in the last month. And the aim of that is you can go and explore. For example, the first person is actually here, so it's Jared. And I can just go and see what badges he has actually achieved and say, oh wow, what is this functionality that for which he got this badge? And I can just go and click. And maybe I'll explore the same functionality as well. So it's to encourage other people to do what your friends are doing, right? The next slide. The top one tells you what different levels I have. So the first one is an apprentice, then you're inspired, then you're awesome, and then you're a champion, and then you're a collaborator. Now that's the biggest one expertise that you can achieve, and the reason is we give you a lot of importance for teamwork. So for example, if you're having with some kind of functionality, or if you're having trouble with developing a mind plan, you are actually helping somebody else, and that gives you a separate set of badges, and that gives you makes you a collaborator, which is the highest because we encourage teamwork. Okay, and just underneath you can see a newsfeed. The newsfeed is all about what your friend recently achieved. So you can see all the different people who are on there. A lot of them are actually here in this room today. And you can see what badge they achieved. So you know, okay, in the last 2 minutes, so this person achieved this badge. Okay, what is it? Just go and click, and you know what it is about. All about. And other people can actually like it, they can comment on it. So you're just trying to get everybody involved in the software to share knowledge at the end of the day. And then you have yet to win, which is a way for people to motivate them to go and explore. Obviously, as I said, to encourage them to go and explore the different parts of the functionality. The next one is a discussion page. Now, I understand that a lot of software, the way they do it is obviously they have a website where they have a forum to go and discuss about the software, post questions, post answers. The idea in here was to embed that into your program. So everybody in that particular company who's using the software is actually on this page where they can post questions. And you get points for posting questions, for answering other people's questions, and there's a part called tips. Now I've worked with so many software engineers, mining engineers who know these little tricks that's just so amazing. It reduces your work by like 15 minutes. I do something this long way and they just press a few buttons and it just, wow, boom, it's there. So if you go and share that knowledge with somebody else, you get points. It's as simple as that. Now, the main changes you can see, obviously people are asking questions, you can answer, you can comment, you can go and like them. You're encouraging other people to post questions, to post answers as well. And on the right side, you can see a whole list of people who are online at that point of time. So for example, I'm having some trouble with some particular part of the mind. And I can see, oh, okay, this person is there, and oh, okay, what's his designation? Oh, yeah, he might be able to answer my question. Just go and click and say, oh, hey, can you please help me with this? So it's kind of a social page within the organization. So all the data is actually within the organization, which is one of the biggest trouble as well. When I work with my company, I have to nag them so much to put anything online, actually, because they like the secrecy, or as I like to call it, which is the company data. So what we're doing is to embed those things inside the program so they can still share the knowledge, but the data is within the company or within the organization.
So that is over all your customers or within one customer?
Within one organization, actually. For example, like we recently had something with BHP INR, and so this particular one would be specific to them. So anything that happens here cannot be seen by another company with the same product.
So you can't share tips for, I've got a tip that works across every customer,
yeah.
but the tip only comes into my customer's area.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't do that because as I was talking about, it's a company data and they like to protect that. And that's one of the biggest things about enterprise solutions as well. And the idea is like a lot of this discussion page, obviously you have a company forum where you can go and discuss, but they don't like that working in an enterprise solution, which I've experienced a lot, and that's why it's embedded into it, to share knowledge within the company, within the organization. The next one is professional development. all of you have actually developed a software and developed a training session for it, or a training product for it, right? So the idea here is to embed that as well. So it's a bit of a marketing and a bit of motivation. So what you're just saying is, okay, this particular software is Zero Score Enterprise, it's financial modeling. So what you're doing is you're embedding all the training session related to that particular product in here. So what it does is, okay, fine, I'm actually a newbie into this product. So all the training courses that is relating to that field is actually put in here. So it picks up the training courses based on your expertise level. So if you're an advanced user, you probably get information about training for that particular level. And on the right side, you can see all your colleagues who are enrolled in this course. So obviously, you can say, oh, go and chat with them, have a discussion about what you want to learn from this, etc. And underneath that, you have testimonials from the people who have already done this course. So, you know, within your organization, for example, somebody, you know, on a mindset, you have thousands of people. If you just see, all right, oh, Jared has actually done this course, or just call him up and say, hey, I'm doing this course, what do you think about this? And on the right side as well, it says related courses. So maybe what are the related courses that you can actually do with this particular things? So yeah, so as you can post more questions, more answers, social collaboration, you get more points, you progress through the rating system of this particular software, and you can go from apprentice, that's what currently, to a collaborator. That's probably the highest one. Alright, so any questions so far?
How do you calculate the success of people using it?
You're asking me about actually the metrics, which is the most difficult part of the whole thing. Which I have to tell you, it's still in the development phase. But the first part of the metrics was, as I was talking about, the complexity levels of each spreadsheet. Which is decided obviously by the company, depending on how maybe a spreadsheet is just about calculating the last month's profits, for example. It's very simple, and they say, okay, fine, it's a complexity 1. And then you're given a timeline to finish it. And if you can finish it in 4 hours and somebody else is finishing in 10 hours, so that becomes the metrics. But with the scoring system on the whole level, with badges and expertise, that's a big problem. Yeah.
What happens if you get people in the organisation who don't want to play the game? How would you deal with user resistance?
But I think if you don't want to play this game, you actually you can only motivate somebody, I believe, up to some level, right? Like, there's lots of people who don't like social pages like Facebook and etc. But you can't really do anything about them other than to say, oh, hey, you know so much about it. Maybe you can say, oh, can you please come and share your knowledge on this? But otherwise, see, this part is a different section of the software, right? It's not intruding with your regular work. So if somebody doesn't like it, he can still go on and finish his work. He just doesn't have to come up on this thing.
So this is not mandatory to do this?
No.
Right.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's a one part of the software to encourage, to motivate.
So it's the idea that when you use this, you try and steer people towards using this, and then, I guess, educating them that way. Because if people don't like the system, and this is the way that you're educating people by gamification, if they don't want to participate, then they're like behind.
Yeah.
So how do you counter that?
I guess maybe you can, obviously, there's a little bit of advertisements. You can talk about this thing, about gamification, about what the benefits of it. I think the best thing that can happen is your colleagues pushing you.
Yeah.
If there's 5 people, everybody's on this side and saying, answering questions and asking questions and answering and stuff, it's say, hey, why don't you answer this? There's a question that's relating to your field. So I think it's more about getting the encouragement from the respective colleagues as well.
Yeah, get them to buy in, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think? What else can be done? Like, I mean, you can do something on the technology part. Anybody thinks? Any other ideas?
What if you get actual price?
Management calls it KPIs, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think when it ties through the managers to actually do it, then I guess they're going to start interested.
Absolutely. You can get them, I mean, obviously, to have this as a part of their KPI to help others to collaborate, participate in this. But you can't, I don't know if any company would like to make it mandatory to do it.
Is there any incentive other than achieving something yourself that is given in this, like, as you just, said, is there anything that...
Like in real?
Yeah.
Like I just go, pay rise for you, you're
I think it goes a long way for it to become a formal means of assessing somebody.
But is it already informal? Like, is it?
It's very informal at the moment. No, it's not formal. I don't think it's very easy to go and talk to BHP or Rio Tinto and say, hey, your next assessment is actually going to be based on this, right?
I think that you could do you could make it real without making it real. Like we did a thing at my last company. It was a silly thing. We called the tab cab, just the thanks a bunch cabinet. And basically what it was is we had a couple of $100. I think it was $500 or $600 budget. We gave it to the admin. She went out and she bought a bunch of stuff for $20 or $25 from the local Home Depot.
Yep.
Basically, Leatherman tools and flashlights and solar panels and battery rechargers for phones and stuff. And then
So obviously all guys.
you play this game, stuff that people want but they never really spend the $20 on for themselves.
Yes. Yep.
Then you win this, and then you get a ticket to go to the Thanks a Bunch cabinet, and you open it, and it's like, you know, the Sharper Image catalog. It's all the cool, awesome, crazy gadgets that you've never, and you get to take them home.
And it worked.
It totally worked.
Yeah.
It totally worked. So you could, at the end of the week, whoever's the leaderboard of the week goes to get 50, 25. It's like the stupid, you know when you go to the nickel arcade and you play the game, you do the skee ball, and they give you those tickets?
Oh, yeah.
And you take the tickets in, you get them with some crap.
Yep.
These are the tickets, and then the crap is up to the company to give.
But the crap doesn't have to be crap. I mean, I keep coming back to
$20 gadgets, $20 gadget I wouldn't have bought myself. That's not crap.
because I keep coming back to this. It's not just doing this with their XP points they get, right?
Yes.
But you can actually get like $1,000 phone for your XP points.
I think, and my point is that somewhere between a $5 gift card for Starbucks and a $1,000 phone, anything more than a couple dollars is a motivator.
Yeah, but this is the motivator here is that as you do more, you get better stuff. So it's not just always a $20 item.
Agreed.
It's if you do more,
you could trade. You could maybe save up 10. And
that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
No, definitely, I agree. But there's another concept with this that I was reading up as well. There's something about long-term engagement and a short-term engagement. Like if you have something new and you want to promote it, like quickly, for example, what you're talking about with Nokia, they want people to go and write apps at the moment, right? So they're doing this big promotion, so they're giving for everything, right? But what if you want this to be a long-lasting thing? For example, like the leader of the week, as Scott was saying, gets a coffee. Absolutely, it's amazing for a while. But what if it becomes the regular thing? Then it loses because motivation is all about creating something new, challenging people, right? After a while, it becomes the regular thing. Then you have to come up with something else to top that. It's always like that. But in games, you see, there is no external reward. Like you don't really get something to go play World of Warcraft for a week, right? I mean, do you?
Until they give you bitcoins or something. I mean, if you look at like Second Life, right? Second Life is an economy. It's like the 7th biggest economy in the. It's like one below Brazil, the actual economy. This is like a real thing. Like the economy of Second Life is an economy, and people trade that for real money. There are Second Life millionaires.
Yeah. There's
no reason that one couldn't make this as big as they wanted to make it. It starts with Starbucks gift cards, and the next thing.
So if you're not ready to spend that money, obviously there's the whole concept of long-term engagement. Yes, please.
Have you ever used the usage data for just reviewing features or user experience, like say, hey, that feature's not being used or it's used?
Yes, definitely. Actually, this was one of the first section of it as well, to be able to better customize it. Like, for example, if you're running this probably over a year and you've seen that this particular functionality, even though after you've given multiple missions and given badges to use, has not been used. So your next approach is obviously maybe to get rid of it, or maybe change it in some way, maybe it's too difficult. Think about it. So obviously the data is very powerful, and how you use it is just a huge world out there, right?
Do you find many people not using this game?
This is still in the development phase.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'll tell you in 6 months.
All right.
Come back next year. If you come back and tell us about gift card.
There you go.
That's the deal. So you're here next year. Yes.
How do you know that it's working?
How do I know that it's working?
Yeah, I mean, if you put it in production, how can you tell that it actually have a positive effect? I mean.
Well, I think that bit has to be done with the organization as well. Like, I mean, we get the data, and probably you'll have to analyze it. But the company's, I don't know, managers, marketing people have to get involved as well to collect the data and see what's the positive influence of it. You have to get regular feedbacks. Like there's a feedback system to be included in this as well, where they can send the information directly to the company. And there was another idea as well. For example, like if you're hitting some functionality, you can actually pick up the data. Okay, oh, this function has been hit like 20 times and it's being sent to us. But there is an issue of security in here as well. Like it's like almost prying on people. So there's a limit to it. So we're still figuring out all the bits and pieces as to how much data can you get without like really crossing the lines at the end of the day. Alright, so we come to the most interesting section. This is my favorite. So that is a brainstorming session where you guys get to talk and I get to listen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you different questions or maybe scenarios, and I want you to think outside the box. This could be the most ridiculous ideas, but I want you to think outside the box and tell me the most innovative way to solve this. Alright, we get there, but the first thing what I want you to do is share your story. So,
you need to gamify it.
Yeah, what are you going to give me?
There you go.
Oh.
I have 5 indie games gift cards. For anybody who has innovative ideas.
Which app? Is there Subway? You have Subway?
Alright, so this is not for only participation, this is for coming up with innovative ideas. I'm not the judge. I'm going to ask my very lovely colleague to do it, Clinton. So he's going to decide, so the thing is, impress him with your innovative ideas. Alright? Okay, so share your story. So tell me a story about gamification in your life. This doesn't have to be with some particular software. In life, alright, so you're first, yeah.
I go first.
Yeah.
I sort of half told the story in my session as well, but my partner's son is autistic, and he doesn't get time right. He has no clue about time. So he said, Jordan, you got 2 minutes and we're going. You go, oh, okay, and he goes out in the swing, right? He has no clue what 2 minutes is. So we were having real trouble, especially at shower time. With kids would know this. And he could just, he'd stand an hour and a half in the shower to get in. So we keep yelling at him, and it doesn't work. So I came up with this idea of building a visual timer app for Windows Phone, surprise. And this works. So he can see the time now, rather than he didn't understand the concept of time. So he can now see the time. So it's just a circle that diminishes as time goes by. But it's a game for him to get done whatever he needs to get done before this thing runs out. So very basic, but it worked a treat. Great. He doesn't get any treats though.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah. It just becomes a challenge, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're making that time shorter and shorter and shorter.
That's good. You decide about the game because at the end, right? So depending on who's the best.
Yeah, so mine are like little self-made mini games by myself. They're weird, but I enjoy them. My friends hate them. Like little weird things. Like the first one that I told my mates. This is when I lost a few mates. Is I'll wake up and I'll put my water jug under the tap, so I can drink water in the morning. But I'll go have a shower and see if I can beat the tap and see how fast I can beat that. Or when I'm driving my car, I'll make sure I don't hit the bumps on the freeway when I'm trying to go across. Or well, I got a uni here, so when I'm coming to uni, I try and see how fast I can run. Obviously not me, but how fast I can run from the train station here. And after a while, I realized these things, how we do things faster or quicker or stay alert, especially trying to wake up and have a quick shower or something like that. But I do all these little gamification games.
Just don't combine them to drive as fast as you can to get them.
I stopped that after I got my first aid.
Absolutely lovely day.
Some of them are silly, but some of them trying to get from the train station to here quickly, obviously that improves my health.
Yeah.
And
it's motivating to do it too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, definitely. When you mention that, have you guys seen the Ford gamification app? Ford, by the car. Yeah, they have a little inbuilt thing inside there. What?
Ford and Google, that one.
Huh?
Is that the one with Ford and Google?
I'm not sure if Google was involved.
I don't know, but I've seen advertising for it.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'll find out. But what they do is with your fuel efficiency. It actually tracks how you're driving, like you're braking and all these sort of things, and it tells you how well you're using the fuel. It's absolutely totally gamified system.
Honda did that as well. They just had a red ball. So when it turned red,
yeah,
it was because you did too much fuel or whatever, and it just automatically people just slow down because they don't like the red.
Red is whatever it's called. It's like you drive past someone that's driving the same car as you, or you drive past someone that's playing the same game, you still the same kind of economy as you. But yeah.
That's brilliant. Sorry, yeah, please.
Sorry, two quick things. One, I've always owned Toyota Priuses. And there are hypermilers, of which I am one, who try to. Prius gets about 45 miles per gallon. I don't know what that is in Australia. But we try to get 75 to 100 miles per gallon by feathering the gas, and it's all based on using the gamified graphics that they give us. The second one is that I've just started using an application on my iPhone called Waze, which is a better gamified GPS. And so it's freaking amazing. They have a Windows Phone version of it. It's absolutely amazing. You're driving, I was driving, this totally happened just before I got here when I was in the US, driving to the airport, and a little piece of candy showed up on another road that apparently they hadn't yet mapped. If I would drive through that candy, then I would get points. I'm driving to the airport to come to Australia, and I take this random place I've never been to yet, and I drive through the candy, and it pops up and it says, now you can win a ticket to see Eminem in concert. That's fantastic. I'm like, oh, I'm going to run this application. Waze, W-A-Z-E.
Another thing with that is, sorry. With the same one that you're giving, how many of you have seen Game of Thrones by version?
I heard about that. I
heard it and it's rubbish.
The name is ancient. Yeah. That's probably why I love Game of Thrones.
Actually, underneath it says this is not in any way related to Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Have you actually seen that? It's pretty cool, yeah.
That's enough reason to download it.
But the idea is actually it encourages you to visit different Virgin stores, and you can collect points and check in at different points. And I think the person to get the most points actually wins $50,000 or something.
This is good looking prize.
Yeah.
I think they did that with Inverse as well, the virtual reality Google app.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
They bundle with different companies, so you can actually attack your store and and then you get points that you can spend at that store.
I'm downloading that now, Scott. I want to go see it.
Somebody was telling me this week today they're trying having trouble getting their kids, as everyone does, to do their chores. Yeah. So they came up with a Kanban board for the fridge, and they had ready, doing, done, and then the kids get to move their chores from through the columns. And then their pocket money is modified by the tasks on the Kanban board, depending on whether they.
Have you seen Chore Wars?
No.
It's actually another gamified app, exactly the same thing. Like you get your kids to actually decide, okay, who's going to do the laundry, who's going to do the washing, and all these sort of things, and it's only gamified, and you can go and check what you have done. It's only trackable. Cool. Chore Wars, have a look. It's pretty cool. Sorry. Yes.
So going back to challenging yourself before, Mario Kart was always one that me and my friends would play with ghosting, where you'd always want to beat that time. Garmin does that quite well with what you call a virtual partner. So you run with a watch, or you ride with a tracking device, and it records how long you took with the GPS system.
Yeah.
You then record that and play it over again, and you challenge yourself to the same speed or the same race again, or the same circuit that you ran.
Yeah.
Just to improve the time.
It's like racing your ghost in Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually ran a little experiment in my sociology class back in college, and I don't know if you guys heard of a game called Civilization.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. That was, I think, Civilization 1 or 2. That's how long I am. But with that game, we actually brought it to the class and we played it as a team. But we did it in terms of how different social, not to win the game, obviously, but how social stuff affects this game and how